Good morning, jabronis and bozos, and welcome to Casual Opinions Podcast, where we're back to talk about everybody's most favorite current superhero, Moon Knight. Very, very spooky, potentially problematic cosplay if done incorrectly. But we're back at it. Moon Knight Season 1, Disney Plus, halfway through. I guess you can kind of think of this as the midpoint check-in for us today, since we didn't do, we're not doing every episode, so just kind of a midpoint preview here, or reflection, I guess. Once again, Zach Kellner joined by Caleb Kellner and Bailey Deal, who, if you remember from last week, is going to be one of the headliners on our content clash, creator clash boxing match that we're trying to set up here. Bailey, how's your training going?
I am not training whatsoever, and that's the perfect execution and methodology that I prefer to employ in my training regime. I will be drinking tons and tons of Dr. Pepper and eating all the Wendy's that I can.
So, Bailey, are you trying to imply that your competition, Dylan Gooden, is so weak that you can defeat him with no training?
No, I'm saying that Dr. Pepper and Wendy's and no training will give me the strength to overcome the odds and defeat Dylan Gooden. I'm sorry, my phlegm just came up in my throat halfway through that.
Dude,
I thought you were just
Doctor.
throwing your voice on purpose. I was like, "Ooh, he's
No,
intense."
I was like, I've been sick this past week, so I'm gonna get phlegmy and coffee probably quite a bit.
Nice.
It turns out Bailey is actually kind of like Moon Knight, except his Khonshu is the little red-headed, pigtailed Wendy, and she's just like behind him in the boxing match, and she's like, "Put on the suit, put on the suit,
Just constantly going like, kill him, break his windpipe.
stomp on his throat."
Bailey suits up and he just cosplays as Wendy.
Instead of a water bottle, like they're in between rounds, and Bailey's just like eating a Frosty, and then he just like runs
They
back.
come up. No, it's not even a Frosty. It's just a water bottle, and it's just Dr. Pepper, and they're just spraying that into my mouth. And they're like, "That's an illegal substance. He's not allowed to use that." And they're like, "It's too late." I'm just powered up.
Well, nowhere in the rules says a dog can't play basketball.
Classic.
Yeah, classic. But yeah, we're here to talk about what is not a classic, Moon Knight. I don't think it's a classic as far as like comic books are concerned. Maybe I'm just speaking way out of turn here. Um, but we're about halfway through. I figure we could do just like general thoughts on the whole, and then like maybe get into the individual episodes, split them up, and then kind of see where we're at. Um, what have you guys thought so far halfway through the series here?
I think it's fine so far. I think my only real issues are with a lot of CG and editing things and like very um, technical issues in that regard. I know it's a TV show, but it's also a Disney Marvel show, which if you watch any of their other series, WandaVision, Loki, any of that, they look significantly better with their CGI than
Yeah.
this show does.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like that aspect disappoints me, but that's something that I can easily overlook because it's a comic book show. I've seen worse. It's not the end of the world if the show doesn't have good CGI. But otherwise, I think pacing is my other big issue. I'm just we got to episode 3 and I'm like, I feel like a lot has happened and also not much has happened. I don't know how to describe it. It's just I honestly feel, yeah, whatever. Caleb, go on to
Well,
yours.
you
I'll get
might
into
have
mine.
honestly said that perfectly because I also can't really describe it in the way that you had criticized it. I mean, it's the same way I would have said it too. But yeah, there to me, there's just something about this third episode, at least, just kind of put it somewhere for me, and I don't know where to. I don't really know what to say. It felt weird, and I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about the show right now. Like, it's not bad. The first 2 episodes were good, but this third episode's got me a little confused. I don't know. Not like actually confused about what's happening in the show, just my thoughts and feelings on the show. I don't know. I'm mixed right now. I don't really know why.
I think personally, the third episode has been my favorite. Like that was the one that I
Really?
think kind of revealed the most. I think.
I
I
would
didn't
agree.
like
I
all the
think
gods.
the third episode, I think is still my favorite, but it's also the one that I think falls apart the most under like slight scrutiny. I just don't. It feels weird to me. I like this episode more than the other two, but I I, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, like I'm more excited to put on an episode of Our Flag Means Death on HBO Max than I am to put on episodes of Moon Knight, which I was not expecting. Um, like Our Flag Means Death, great show, and I highly recommend you watch it. But also, it's funny because that show is beating Moon Knight in viewership. And that show's been done releasing its episodes for like 2 weeks now. So the entire run of Moon Knight has been like playing second fiddle to Our Flag Means Death. And I kind of understand why. I enjoy watching Our Flag Means Death more than I'm enjoying watching Moon Knight. It's weird. I don't know.
I've been trying to get caught up on Atlanta as well.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
last episode was. Woo.
I've only done the first two, but it's been good. And then I watched this movie yesterday with Ben Affleck in it called Deepwater. That sucked. That sucked. That movie was it was the it was one of the dumbest endings I've ever seen in a movie. Like it was like mediocre up until like the last 20 minutes, and the last 20 minutes were just a steamer. Um, it was bad, but let's we kind of yeah we I think I'm kind of like meh on the show too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't I don't know. We'll get more into it. I'll do like a couple of the just quick episode recaps. I figure a lot of times when we do these 2 episode shows, we end up just doing we start talking about one episode, but then they just kind of bleed together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So I
I'm down
figure
to just.
rather than saying just episode 2 and just episode 3, I'll do short recaps of each episode, and then we can just kind of riff on whatever is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do a episode 2 recap first. Um, so here we go. Episode 2, my recap here. Steven realizes that episode 1 was not a dream and that something was legitimately wrong. He goes back to his job at the museum and loses his job. He finds a storage locker with a gun and a bunch of fake passports. He then meets Layla, who is actually his wife, who thinks Steven is a total bullshit, fake identity, made up thing, right? She seems to have no understanding of who he is or that he even exists. Not long after he meets Layla, he gets, air quotes, arrested by people who turned out to be working for Arthur Harrow. He's taken to Harrow's neck of the woods, his neighborhood, I guess, which is this culty compound where there's like brainwashing looking videos with nature and animals and stuff. Harrow gives Steven pretty much his mission statement, and Steven's like, "Oh, so you'd kill a baby?" And he's like, "Yup, sure would." Uh, Layla shows up, bails Steven out. Steven gets his swag suit on, the Mr. Knight suit, and like tries to old timey English box this jackal that has been summoned by Harrow, but he sucks. So Mark comes in. They magically switch suits, which kind of answers my suit question from episode 1. This is also when we learn that Mark is indebted to Khonshu, who presumably saved his life at some point. Khonshu is also kind of dangling over him, like, hey, if you don't want to do the job, I'll make Layla do the job instead. And then at the end of that episode, Mark's traveled to Egypt to try and stop Harrow because he had gotten that scarab that would lead him to resurrecting Amit, who kills babies but could have stopped Hitler. Would have killed baby Hitler.
Would have killed baby
Um,
Hitler.
Yeah.
Maybe would have killed Hitler's parents.
Yeah.
I don't know how far back this is going. You know,
I don't know. I
it
think you would
says it
want to
would
do what
prevent
would
evil. So,
think you would want to do what would cause like the minimum amount of ripples. Like if we're just speaking from strictly a time traveler perspective. So I think like killing the parents could potentially cause more ripples than just killing the baby.
yeah.
I don't know.
Either way,
It's like kind of a Looper thing.
yeah.
Looper, that's a good movie.
Never saw it, but I really want to.
Ryan Johnson, director of The Last Jedi,
Good
famous
guy.
for making great movies and not pissing off fandoms.
Yeah. Well, and then episode 3 picks us back up, or I guess starts us in Egypt here. Layla has followed Mark to Cairo, and Mark is tracking Harrow. He kind of like chases. I guess we just hop right into the action as Mark is fighting slash interrogating some of Harrow's men who do this goofy little knife dance
Dan,
thing
yeah, that
and
was really weird.
lots of twirls, very much like the sword guy in Indiana Jones.
Right, that's exactly what I thought.
On that rooftop fight, Mark and Steven kind of flash back and forth, and then Mark's like in a cab leaving, and then he sees the guys because I guess maybe Steven made him leave. Mark then at one point flashes back and pops back in and realizes that like I think 2 of the guys are dead. And he's like, Steven, what the fuck? And Steven's like, yo, bro, it wasn't me. And so it wasn't Mark, it wasn't Steven. So there we presumably have identity number 3, perhaps. They are unable to get any information out of these guys because somebody killed 2 of them, and the other guy kills himself, falls off the cliff. Khonshu is getting desperate, so he blocks out the sun and calls for a meeting of the gods. Mark comes in there, and Khonshu takes over his body and basically just yells like, Harrow is trying to get Ahmet, and he's just angry the whole time. They call in Harrow. Harrow basically just freaking gaslights Khonshu, being like, I'm not doing anything in the desert. And he makes fun of Mark's mental illness. Maybe not makes fun of, but he's like, hey, Khonshu is taking advantage of this mentally ill man here. We shouldn't trust him. Harrow doesn't get in trouble. They just let him go. Layla links up with Mark. She says she may know where to go. Backtrack. One of the other avatars of the gods gives Mark a hint on how to maybe find Harrow. Layla thinks she knows where that is, so they go to this big fancy party. Along the way there, we get a little background of their relationship. Mark says that he had Steven under control until very recently. Once they arrive at this party, they go to view this sarcophagus that may have a clue. There's a rich guy there named Mogart, who is, the owner of the sarcophagus at this point. Harrow shows up, though a big fight ensues. Mark Moon Knight's out, and him and Layla kill all sorts of motherfuckers. They get the clue, but only Steven can figure it out, so Mark switches back. Steven deciphers the clue, but says, hey, this clue was made 2,000 years ago, so the stars don't line up. And Khonshu just, swipes right through
Right,
2,000 years of stars in order to find the answer, the coordinates here. In the process, though, the other gods show up, imprison him in a cute little Khonshu statue, and then at the end of the episode, Harrow, who's apparently buddied up with some of the other gods, comes in there and pretty much says, hey, Khonshu, this is all your fault. You fucked me up, so ha ha ha, I'm gonna go kill a bunch of people. And that's episode 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get a lot of, kind of like Bailey said, like it feels like a lot happens, but also not a lot happens. Yeah. I had read an interview with, I guess, the director, and he had said that this season is almost packaged into twos. So the first 2 episodes are he considered them a package. The second two, 3 and 4 would be considered a package, and then 5 and 6 would be considered a package, like
Right.
almost like chapters. Like episodes 1 and 2 are like chapter 1. Episodes 2, 3, and 4 are like chapter 2, and then 5 and 6 would be like chapter 3. Like they're kind of a cohesive story there. And I could kind of see that in the first one, right? That's sort of like the London chapter of the story. And then 3 and 4 presumably would be an Egypt chapter of the story, and I'm not sure where 5 and 6 will go. Um, I don't know. I've kind of been on it overall.
Yeah.
I like the I I don't know.
I'm sorry. This is like the perfect amount, like perfect embodiment of the way that you talk about the show. It's just like I like the.
Yeah, honestly, there's
it's
just I can't describe it. I don't know.
I
It's
I'm not like
okay, but it's
super.
not amazing.
I've always found myself being less critical of like CGI and stuff than I know like Caleb is at times. Like maybe my eyeballs just don't notice it, but like I've not seen anything in here where I'm like, whoa, that's so bad. Like I don't know.
All of Khonshu.
I think Khonshu looks a little goofy sometimes.
I should see
But
pretty CGI.
there are just certain like shots they use of Moon Knight doing like leaps and jumps and a lot of stuff with his cape.
I
It
love
love
it
just
when his cape
feels
goes
like
into
it's
a
rubbery.
crescent.
Yeah, it feels
That's cool.
rubbery.
And
you
the
know?
jackal was not the best.
Jackal didn't look great.
Yeah.
No.
And also one thing in episode 2, and I think this is maybe like plot device to save money. There's the part in episode 2 where he's fighting and they're like, "Oh, only he can see the jackal and no one
Yeah.
else can. So let's
Right.
show the fight from the perspective of the other people so we don't have to spend money on animating the jackal."
Yeah,
yeah.
like that to me is like okay, I can kind of see how that makes sense, but at the same time I also can see right through it and see that this is just a way to save money on effects.
Yeah.
You know, a Disney budget. I'm like you better be saving like your budget for something really big and spectacular later on if this is what you're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. The show's so. I mean, like I said, we're only halfway through, but
Also,
right now it's definitely not topping any show for me.
someone pointed this out on TikTok of what like I this turning the sky back 2,000 years is cool and all, but there's literally an app for that.
Yeah.
You literally just put in a date and the app will show you like what the sky looked like way back when.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah,
just like,
'cause-
oh,
Well,
okay.
because even Steven's kind of like, oh, they had such a great way to chart the movement of the stars and use that for direction. And yeah, the reason that they charted the movements of the stars was because it was reliable and predictable.
It's
Like
math.
it's math, so like you don't need to alter the sky to do that. Like it's a I don't know the formula because I'm not a math guy, but it's something that you can do, right? They move on reliable paths like that. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that, but now that I do, it's just kind of
Well,
like,
it
oh
was
yeah.
faster for Khonshu to do that for them rather than them put in their credit card information to buy the app and then look up and scroll and all
Most
that crap.
apps these days aren't even like pay stuff, are they?
Conchu didn't have the patience to sit through the 30-second Candy Crush ad to see the results. So
He's like, I'll just do this
We have no
myself.
time. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna kill myself so we can get the answers.
Yeah, bit of an oversight maybe on their
Yeah.
part.
I think between episodes 2 and 3, I like the third episode more, as I kind of already said there for a second. I thought the third episode gave. Well, I think the reason I liked it more is because it kind of gives you a little bit more world building, a little bit more lore. You get to see the Ennead, the other gods, which for being Egyptian gods, there was a suspicious amount of white people
Yeah, I think that's why I
as
didn't like it. I just
as the avatars. Like, why is the main Egyptian god a balding white
right,
businessman?
right.
That didn't seem
Yeah,
accurate,
they
but
just didn't seem very impactful, and I didn't take them seriously, and
yeah.
it just felt very like cheesy. I don't know, just
I'm interested in the idea like of the other gods having avatars because obviously we've
feel like
had
I'm
other
watching
god
Supernatural.
yeah 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 we've had other gods in the MCU obviously being Thor, so I don't know if there's potential future linkage there. It almost
Yeah,
kind of feels like a sort of, well, like the MCU is kind of setting it up like there's almost kind of like a god of war where there's multiple pantheons of gods in this universe,
right.
which is pretty interesting. You know, the Eternals are sort of looked at as to being gods in some cultures, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, you've got the Norse mythology, you've got the Egyptian mythology here. So I thought it was cool. I wonder if like those guys have suits? You know, do they get to? You know, it sounds like they're more hands off, and that's why they don't like
Right.
Khonshu so much. But also the third episode had I guess we get to see more of Mark and Steven and Khonshu sort of like coexisting and realizing that they're a team, I guess. They're kind of more like a unit there. You know, Mark starts to realize, hey, he's got all this going for him, but he needs a bit more of Steven's help. And even Khonshu, who's just like freaking been a dick to Steven the whole time, even he's like, oh, well, this guy's actually pretty helpful.
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat. It is probably worth pointing out that that's not actually how dissociative identity disorder works. Like that's kind of the Hollywood version where like each personality has its own special set of skills. Like that's kind of I mean that is a Hollywood version of it. You know, people who have DID. It's not like one of them is an Egyptologist who can speak French and the other one is a kung fu karate master mercenary.
Haven't you
So
ever seen Split, dude?
yeah,
Come on.
Split, the most
I
accurate.
was about to say.
Where's the dude
Yeah,
that can
one of them
crawl
he
on the
turns into a
walls?
monster. Yeah. So I don't know. I like three more than two. I think it opens it up for more, but as you know, Bailey had kind of said, and Caleb, I know you agreed. Still not really sure about the goings on of things. You know, what's Harrow's end goal here? I mean, he kind of just like vaguely wants to kill people that he thinks are bad, but I'm not sure what the end game is. Um, so I don't know. I'm curious. I'll keep watching it, but yeah,
Well, yeah.
it's not rocking my socks off at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunate. But here's the thing: when Moon Knight is on screen, I have a fairly good time. I'm like, there we go, and
Yeah,
it's just like whenever it's Mark interacting with like Steven or Steven interacting with Mark, I'm enjoying it. But it's like as soon as you introduce like other people around him, like the
Yeah.
inclusion of Layla adds
Same.
like a little bit of complication to it, and I understand like where they're coming from, but at the same time, I I'll be honest. During that third episode, they have this scene where they're talking to each other on the boat. I cannot tell you what they talked about. I have no idea what its importance and significance was. I completely tuned out. Like it, the whole setup. I was like, oh, this is gorgeous lighting. Like a little contrast to American way of just making Egypt yellow filtered. But they were like, hey, let's throw in like nightlife purple, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting enough. But they're just talking, and I just don't care about what they're
I
saying.
don't even remember that scene.
Yeah,
I think part of it was bit about she was just kind of like, hey, what's why haven't you been telling me about this whole Steven thing? Like I think it was kind of like why aren't you opening up to me more kind of stuff. But you're I mean the fact that I'm kind of shitting my way through this sentence kind of proves that I don't
Just
remember it much either.
like I don't know, like about whether it was the writing, whether it was the pacing, whether it was the placement in the episode. I feel like this was a conversation they should have had earlier than this moment, or maybe even a little later. I don't know. It just it felt like a scene that they had to put in, and it wasn't like a scene they cared about. It felt like the scene that breaks up all the tension and action. And it's just like, okay, we're delving into their relationship, but frankly, I don't care about their relationship, like,
Yeah,
really at all.
I found
So,
myself really only caring about Mark and Steve.
yeah,
Those are like the only two characters in the entire show I think I actually like right now.
I actually
I don't
really
even
like
really care for
Hara.
the. I don't really care for the bad guy.
I kind of care.
Not the biggest fan
I
of
don't
him.
care for him, but I enjoy like his kind of foil to it as like very baseline and evil as it is. It's still one of those like complicated. Oh, he's a foil to what Moon Knight pretty much stands for. But also, it's like his conflict isn't really with Mark or Steven. His conflict is more with Khonshu.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we'll get more of that a little later on. Like, the fight is not going to be Mark and Steven against Haro. It's pretty much going to be Khonshu and Haro. And Mark and Steven are just kind of there.
They're gonna fight another
Unless
chapter.
Haro does something to Layla that gets Mark and Steve to engage as well and make it more of a personal fight. But it just kind of feels like Mark and Steve are just like, look, we just want to stay out of this guy's way and just make sure like he can't do what he wants to do. Like we'll just take his thing and we'll run and that's it. So
I've liked Harrow. I think he's a good villain.
no, yeah,
Um,
I'm
like
fine with him. I think it'll build, but
it's not like a traditional villain like meathead kill kind of stuff. I mean, I guess Marvel generally has pretty layered villains, but I don't know. He's pretty compelling and creepy and like I mean, you could tell he's bought in. And then even in the third episode, I almost, he's the bad guy and he would kill babies and stuff. But you almost kind of start to see maybe a little bit where he's coming from or feel bad for him because he talks about how like Khonshu abused him and took
mm,
advantage of him, and it's like, well, I've only seen Khonshu be an asshole, so that's kind of believable
Yeah, that's
at
about
this
the
point
only part I
here.
think I maybe do like about him is like maybe motive, but like I don't know.
Yeah,
Everything else just isn't
yeah.
compelling enough for
Well,
me.
I'm also interested. Like, okay, so you were the Avatar, and now you're not. Like, how did you get picked? What happened along the way
Yeah, he
to
seems
get you unpicked?
and he's got the
You
cane,
know?
he little
Yeah,
walk
that's true.
funny.
I
Something
mean, yeah,
happened.
maybe Khonshu jacked him up there.
Yeah.
I mean he
Um,
also walks on glass, so
yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't help. I had a couple questions possibly to answer. Some of them maybe we could take a stab at, maybe, um, but I don't know any Moon Knight lore really. So, first question I had was, does anybody have any guess on how long Mark and Steven have been like how long there's been multiple personalities? Because Mark has said, really, the only hint we get is Mark has said that he's had him under control for a while now, and I know this is Hollywood, um, so how you would get BID maybe isn't you know realistic, but typically when somebody has dissociative identity disorder, it's usually rooted from some form of trauma. That's usually going to be what forms it or creates it there. So initially, my guess would have been that this started after or around the time that he almost died and Khonshu saved him. And I guess I don't know how long ago that's been, but like, has that was Steven there before that happened, or what? I don't know if anyone's got any thoughts on that.
yeah, I like it definitely it feels like something that happened before Khonshu found him because the way Harrow talks about it, it sounds like Khonshu found a broken man and
Mhm.
is taking advantage of him in that regard. So again, it absolutely could have been whenever Khonshu found him, quote unquote, like dead in the
Dead.
desert or whatever it was. That could have been the birth of it. But
There, there's even also, I think it was New Rock Stars. If you ever watch any of their videos,
oh,
they
are you going to talk about the stupid multiverse thing that they came up?
well, I honestly didn't watch the video. I just saw that I scrolled past one of them that was basically like, did Steven like did the blip cause this somehow? Like,
Oh,
did
okay.
like the video is like, did Steven blip and return in Mark's mind? So was this like unearthed by that? Was that the source of the trauma? I
Well, there's also a third personality who I think I know their name from the comics, but
yeah. That
I
that
don't.
was going to be my next question. Was presumably there's a third personality in there, or do you think it was just like, because we've also seen Khonshu can take over the body. Did Khonshu take over the body and kill those
I feel
guys,
like they
or was
wouldn't have
that?
hid that from us.
That's a good point.
Right. I think it is the third personality, which, from what I've seen in the comics, he's not necessarily like a brutal killer.
Yeah,
He's just a guy who is just really good at
Who
doing
knows? Who knows what they're
things.
I
gonna
think
do?
I think what his name's Jake. Is that right?
I think it's Jack.
Jake or Jack, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack and Jill.
I think that does seem like the most likely possibility that it is a third one. But again, haven't read the comics. From what I've gathered, they've done a fair bit of altering on some of the personalities as is already. Like the whole Steven. Well, I think what wasn't one of the personalities, I think, was originally like very close to like Bruce Wayne. Like, and Oscar
That was Mark.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Mark
Mark
was
Mark
almost
is a
kind of
billionaire, that kind of thing.
right. So they've already kind of done some taken some
Tweaking.
liberties with changing those things. Yeah.
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 Um. Other question. It's kind of hinted at that uh, perhaps Mark killed Layla's dad. I think it's
Oh,
in.
yeah.
I think it's in episode 2. The people who capture Steven, they like, hey, look at these. Look at these people you killed at a dig
Wait, wait,
site.
wait, wait, wait. Hold up. I'm a
I
little
got more. I
confused.
got more implication from episode 3 with that.
I'm a little
Right, but they
confused.
first they sprinkle it in episode 2. What are you confused about?
You said in the comics, Mark was close with Bruce Wayne.
I
He's
believe so. In
si-
the comics, he was a
not
billionaire
not like close as in they're friends, but he was a
clone.
billionaire. Yeah, he was like a
Okay, I
knockoff
was
Bruce
like,
Wayne.
is this universe crossing? What the heck?
No,
I was
No,
so
no.
no,
confused. Okay,
no.
okay. I was okay. Makes sense now.
Um, so in episode 2, they kind of say, "Hey, look at all these people you killed out in the desert." Then in episode 3, Layla's like, "Oh yeah, my dad was an archaeologist who got fucking killed in the desert or whatever." And there's like a couple other sprinkles there. Do you think that? Do you think Mark killed her dad? And then like, did he start dating her because he felt bad? Like,
Yeah, I don't
or
know.
was it third personality that did it? You know, who I guess that is probably going to be revealed. I have a hard time thinking Mark killed, like the Mark personality at least would have killed
I could
her
see a
dad.
separate personality.
Yeah, or he was
Khonshu,
there when it
maybe.
happened, and yeah. Um, Three more questions. This episode 3, we got the most noticeable, maybe the first tie-in to other Marvel canon where they name drop Madripoor. They
Oh,
say
Yeah.
who
that
is that?
Layla had Madripoor is the place that they go to in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where the power broker is.
Okay, I'll take your
The
word
big
for it. I don't
city.
remember it, but all right. I did not make that
They
connection, but cool.
that's where Zemo pretends to sell the Winter Soldier to those guys.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the big crime city. Isn't it also in Shang-Chi? Do they go there in Shang-Chi?
No,
No.
they go to an actual city.
Okay, I couldn't
Madripoor's
remember where they.
made up.
Well, yeah, I couldn't remember where they had the Abomination Wong fight.
I think that one might have been Shanghai, but I can't remember.
Okay. So that's I don't know. I don't know if we'll get any of that. I think it would maybe feel a little weird if all of a sudden they shoehorned in power broker Carter chick there. But at the very least, it's it's the most noticeable instance of a tie-in there.
Yeah, I
Caleb will
definitely
probably
didn't pick that up.
Caleb will freak out when John Walker comes flying off the Pyramid of Giza.
Ooh, baby. Oh wow.
And he just
I hope so
locks
now.
people who are different than him, and he just starts punching
Okay.
them and
Here we
chopping
come
their
with
heads up.
some unintelligent takes here.
Hey, I like that one Egyptian god, but I don't like the others.
Oh my god.
That's an awfully white avatar you have there, sir. I respect the hell out of you.
The only Egyptian gods I know are Slifer.
Slifer the Sky
John
Dragon.
Walker would be a Yu-Gi-Oh weeb.
He comes in with his obelisk.
He would be Obelisk, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
He's a
comes in with
Kaiba.
the what is it, the Chaos Dual Discs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cool one.
It's his shield, and he like throws down a Obelisk the Tormentor. Second to the last question. It's still, at least in my opinion, you guys are free to tell me yours. It still is not horror, I think, like at all.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Again, that was something that they said a lot of, and like, I guess the question is, should we just honestly not be surprised because it's Disney? Like,
Yeah,
I don't think this
but
nothing in
I hope that they don't do what they're doing now with Doctor Strange. I have high hopes for that being a good kind of more horror movie, you know.
yeah.
So
Honestly, I think the spookiest thing in Marvel so far is when Mysterio's making Peter see all the dead Iron Men and stuff.
yeah.
And Far From Home. So I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, and I do hope. I guess that's kind of a follow up there. Yeah, I hope it is gonna they ratchet it up a little bit for Doctor Strange, because if this was supposed to be the start of quote Marvel horror, and Doctor Strange is supposed to be Marvel horror,
Right.
then it's not.
Not great. Not great so far.
And then lastly, and I kind of already got a sense for this, but we're halfway through. Based off where it is right now, is this high up on your Marvel TV show list? Is this
it's
middle of the
bottom right
pack
now.
on your Marvel TV show list?
Right now, it's middle for me.
Bottom for
Yeah.
me.
It'd probably be right behind Hawkeye. Like I have Hawkeye. Well, no, I have Hawkeye, and then I have WandaVision, and then I would probably put. I'd probably put Falcon and Winter Soldier right there, and then Moon Knight.
I would say mine is, if for me, it's in the bottom half for me. I think maybe not dead last.
There are 5 shows, right? WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye, this. Oh, and Marvel What If.
What if?
Which
I
is
wasn't
at the
thinking
bottom
what
of my
if.
list.
Yeah, what if would be at the bottom still, but of all the live action, this one's my least favorite so far. So far.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have my feelings about WandaVision. You know,
Get over that.
Also,
cameo.
we
Get
were
over that
poo
cameo.
pooing on Moon Knight CGI earlier, and
The WandaVision finale CGI is not great.
dreadful.
What, when they're like flying up in the air?
Pew, pew,
Yeah.
The one thing I hope they don't do, I hope they don't have a Moon Knight clone where it's like, instead of, he's like fighting like a gray version of himself, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I just give him a giant monster to fight. I don't know. I
don't want a giant monster. I don't like giant monsters.
Give him a tiny monster.
Okay,
give him
a tiny
something that's like
monster.
really strong
There you go.
but small. Just have him fight Pikachu, and I'll be fine.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and we get a true crossover. And then they use this series to announce a Smash Bros. And Marvel.
Somebody said that they wanted to do a Smash Bros. Movie. I can't remember who it was.
Dude, I could support.
It might have been
It's
whoever did like the Detective Pikachu. It was somebody who did something
It was either
that.
the Sonic director or
Yes,
Ryan
yeah,
Reynolds.
yeah. I think it could have been Sonic director actually.
Let's
Yeah,
go, baby. Sonic.
get Detective
Dude,
Pikachu, get Sonic in
maybe
there.
what if Sonic the Hedgehog is the Iron Man of the freaking Smash Brothers
I
Avengers
I
universe there?
genuinely would love that. That's
And then
kind of
and
how I
then
thought about that too.
Chris Pratt's Mario is the next entry here.
Yeah, you got all the Mario characters there for the Smash
So we
movies.
get someone who actually does a really good job as Sonic, and then we get just like, "Hi guys, I'm Mario. I'm normal now," and they just fight.
And then Mario's riding on Blue the Velociraptor.
I'm waiting
There we
for
go.
Legend of Zelda to pop in there. All
Yeah,
this stuff. That would be a cool movie.
that would be cool. Um, but speaking of Moon Knight fighting miscellaneous creatures, monsters, in a Marvel crossover here, we're gonna finish up the day with a lovely installment of Random Fandom Showdown. Except this time it'll be a Moon Knight edition, where Moon Knight will be fighting against a slew of random adversaries here.
Hmm.
It is probably important to specify we're going to go solely based off of the Moon Knight that we have seen in the TV show. So that does kind of limit us with what we've seen, but also I don't know a damn thing about the comics. So,
Right.
um, I guess first before we get into it, what all have we kind of seen as his power set there? It
But
seems like he's got
Super
a
strong,
super
super
strength.
agile.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Just think
standard
of
base
Batman. It's like Batman with the super soldier serum.
there. Kinda, yeah.
Mhm.
He's got
Also,
he's got
Yeah.
his Moon Knight orangs.
Yeah, bulletproof suit, but not spear-proof suit.
Right.
He's invulnerable to a lot of those attacks. He can still be held down, but
Right, yeah, he can still
Yeah.
be held down, but he probably just doesn't really take it
Well,
hard.
and then they do call it a healing suit.
Yeah.
that's
So
true. Yeah.
I don't think he's like
He's not immortal.
invincible, but it's maybe he's kind of got like a Wolverine healing factor where like you can do damage to him, but he's gonna slowly regen.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, super soldier, Batman, some degree of healing here.
Batarangs.
So let's see what the first matchup is for good old Moon Knight. Who's he gonna draw first here? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hold on. Damn it.
Damn it.
Okay. Number one is the Miles Morales version of Spider-Man. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man.
Oh, like the animated movie?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Or if you want to do Miles Morales from the Spider-Man video game, I didn't
Either way,
specify.
I don't know them very well.
Oof.
I am initially going to go. My reflex answer here is Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah, I might
Especially
agree.
if
I don't
it's-
even know them that well.
Especially if it's the video game Miles Morales, because there he has, he can use electricity. He can do like electric punches. He can also turn invisible. On top of like regular Spider-Man powers there. I guess
Which one
the,
are we doing though? Which one are we doing?
let's just go with the one that we're probably the most familiar with Into the Spider-Verse one.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I think the closest comparison then would be Spider-Man versus Captain America. Like, if you think Spider-Man wins that, then I would say you probably think Spider-Man wins against Moon Knight also.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder though if Moon Knight could.
I think just
Could he
Moon
bu- I
Knight
feel like
has
he
a
could
lot of
bust-
brutality.
I feel like he could bust out of the webs somehow.
No, he
'Cause
100% could. Like,
I
as
mean,
soon
he
as
could have
he
his
gets-
little razor things pop out of his chest and just rip right through those webs. Like.
Yeah.
I feel like he
Or you never know.
maybe could
Khonshu
hold
could
it down.
blow the wind and cause something to fall over.
That's
and
true. That's true.
Get Spider-Man out of
Assuming
because I don't know if Khonshu is the suit, or if Khonshu is able to like stand on the sidelines and like affect the flow of battle or something.
Be a
Because we haven't seen,
cheerleader.
huh?
Be a cheerleader.
Yeah, no. I'm wondering if he could be a cheerleader. So if Miles turns invisible, like Khonshu is like, oh, he's over there on your right, and that would make Moon Knight able to like just be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
I just think
So
I just think Spider-Man is gonna be faster and stronger, and he also has a healing factor as
exactly.
well.
And he
Like,
just has a drive to not stop and not give up, even whenever
yeah,
he's like, if he loses a limb, he's still gonna keep going.
yeah. I think I think it's
I'm
still gonna.
I'm gonna go with Miles Morales.
I am too. That's where I'll
I
end up.
think I might go Moon Knight.
Okay.
I know you guys are obviously way more familiar with that Spider-Man than I am, but I I just something I he's a kid and he got help in the movie, you know. I feel like Moon Knight might be able to take this, just maybe, just maybe.
It's a very close fight.
I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, yeah.
But also, just with Moon Knight being kind of as unstable as he is in the show right now, I think, Steven might be like, we're fighting a kid. And, if he takes
Also,
over, he turns into Mr. Knight. And it's like,
I
boom,
will.
he just gets caught.
I think that's a good point too, Bailey, because I think even Mark though,
got
when
his
they're
ass handed to him by a bunch of guys on horses for a second there.
well, yeah, when they're fighting the rooftop guys, there's the one guy. There's like, and
Yeah.
that's the kid who like cuts themselves and they fall off. He seemed to be honestly taking it easier on that kid. Like, there's one part where he goes to punch the kid,
And then he just
but then
opens
instead he
his
just
hand
like
and smacks
yeah.
him.
So I think he would maybe even
Yeah, but what if Mr. Unknown Third Personality takes over?
yeah, and that's kind of the
Just
wild
rips
card
off.
of it
Yeah,
all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's hard to say. Maybe worth
Okay.
a revisit. Who knows?
yeah. Next on the list, we have the next opponent, Moon Knight versus Movie Daddy from TikTok.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I
shit.
hate to say, but you're getting your ass sweep.
I don't hate to say it. I will just straight up admit I'm getting my ass handed to me by Moon Knight.
Here we go.
Wait, hang on. Do I get the Billy Bonkers buff?
Yeah, you get the helmet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I think I
It's
can
gonna help
stand
so
a little
much.
bit of a
So much.
chance.
We almost kind of previewed this when we were talking about Wendy being your Khonshu.
Yeah.
Oh, the power of Wendy.
It's the battle of the ages.
My super soldier serum is the Dr. Pepper flowing through my veins. My shield is my Billy Bonkers helmet. And I don't know. I think I actually do sweep Moon Knight if that's the case.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
I
gosh.
think I could solo Goku with that even. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go with Movie Daddy if all those factors are at play.
Well, I'm still gonna
Nice.
go with the obvious pick of Moon Knight.
We'll
He's
definitely
slaying
need
you.
to revisit this.
Yeah,
one
this is
because
definitely
the
worth a
pick-
revisit at the end of the series.
Absolutely worth a revisit here. Our next matchup is Moon Knight versus Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat.
No.
Ooh, well, you're a Johnny Cage expert. Does he have an ability?
I'm a Johnny Cage fan
Nut Rider.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Does he have like abilities? I can't remember. Is he
he-
just a good fighter?
He does. He's supposed to be like peak human kung fu fighter. I'm not exactly sure what his powers are. He kind of creates like these green sort of
Energy
energy blasts,
Yeah.
and he can also kind of use them to do like an after image thing where you can kind of like make fake Johnny Cages and stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know exactly what those are. His official wiki here says, although Cage is a human being, he possesses superhuman powers. Johnny descended from a Mediterranean cult that bred warriors for the gods.
Oh, very culty.
So I don't know what those blasts are. but I'm going to say Johnny Cage wins by nut punch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Johnny Cage too. I don't even know much about him, but I've played enough Mortal Kombat games to know how insane he is.
I'm in the same boat. I kind of think Johnny Cage would take this.
And he's
really
he's straight up
easily.
a professional fighter.
Exactly.
He's got it down. So
Yeah.
Whereas Mark lacks the stability
right.
and the cohesion between him, his other personalities, and Khonshu. They just really don't. They don't mesh right now.
And it's hard to compare directly, like, the gods of the Mortal Kombat universe to the gods of the MCU universe, but, like, Johnny Cage has fought and beaten gods,
yeah.
like even in the storyline.
Yeah.
You know, so underrated, I think. But yeah, Johnny Cage, very excited to see him in Mortal Kombat 2 coming to a theater near you sometime soon.
Yep.
Very excited.
Oh, wouldn't it be great if the actor who plays John Walker played him?
No, it's gonna be Chris Pratt.
God damn it.
Oh God.
Chris Pratt is Johnny Cage.
I want to say, I thought maybe I don't know if they've already cast. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Like Chris Evans.
Well, I was searching for if they had cast anybody. It says Mortal Kombat 2 has it already found its Johnny Cage, and the first two suggestions are Ryan Reynolds and Chris Pratt. I was like, no.
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds I think would be good.
Yeah, he would be good. That'd be a good pick.
Honestly, that would be a good hot pick right now.
Yeah. Sexy. So I think we all went Johnny Cage on that one.
Yeah.
What we got next then? Doopa. Oh, this would be a fun one. Moon Knight versus Christian Bale Batman. The Christian Bale version of Batman.
Oh, Moon Knight.
That's cool. Yeah, but I feel like Moon Knight, he's got the supernatural elements on his side.
He's got the brutality, he's got the supernatural elements. Batman has that. He has a lot of restrictions holding him back, even in that franchise. Even in his early days, he is holding back quite a bit because he's Batman.
And
Moon Knight
basic old Bane breaks his back, so.
Well, I wouldn't call Bane basic.
It's not like he was hulked on super serum, you know, or had supernatural powers.
He was
just a dude.
What, morphine in his veins or something like that, so he can't feel pain.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Moon Knight though. As little as we know, I still think Moon Knight might take. It
probably is Moon Knight, but Batman fans will say, does he have prep time? Is it Batman with prep time? Because if he has prep time, he's going to wash Moon Knight.
I want to say no prep time. I want to say this is the stumble into each other, fight to the death, go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was kind of our original rules, was you're dropped in, you get your base equipment. Now, if it was Batman, where he could just, like, go to his Batcave and, like, re-equip, then I think Batman stands a much better chance. But
you can even argue Batman might be able to call that shit in from his gauntlet or something.
Here's the thing: we can all agree. We can all agree that if Batman were walking down the street without any prep time, and then Movie Daddy, fueled by Dr. Pepper, with Goddess Wendy right behind him wearing the Billy Bonkers helmet, stepped out of the darkness, Batman would turn and run while shitting, crying, and pissing himself.
Man, it's getting hazed out here.
Can't say that I take that stance there, but
let's finish up. I think we've done 4. Let's go with 6. That's a good number.
Yeah, that'll be a good number.
6.
Because there will be 6 episodes, so.
Sure. Yeah. All right, let's see what opponent number 5 is here. So far, it looks like we've only got we've got Moon Knight sweeping 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'll settle with the Moon Knight pick against Batman. I think it would be a close one too. Then we had a split vote on Spider-Man, and then we had a landslide, and then we had a Johnny Cage win.
Wait! There was a split vote on Movie Daddy too.
No, it's
God
not.
damn it. We're going with your initial pick here, Bailey.
Damn it!
All right. Now we've got in our fifth slot here, Moon Knight versus Po from Kung Fu Panda.
What's the Wushi Fingerhold? He's
The
screwed.
Wushu Fingerhold. Yeah, and Po, by the time of Kung Fu Panda 3, has perfectly mastered Chi. He can summon a giant Chi dragon here.
Yeah,
Right.
I think I might go Poe actually.
I'm
He's he's the
yeah.
dragon
He's
warrior.
the
He
Dragon
is the
Warrior.
Dragon Warrior.
He is the Dragon Warrior. Yeah.
And let's be honest,
I
like
definitely
Moon
laughed
Knight
when you said that,
fighting,
but no, that's a real pick.
but also like Moon Knight fighting a panda. It's gonna take a lot more than just like hitting him over and over
Oh
again
yeah,
with his
yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a freaking
little
panda.
moonerangs or whatever.
Oh
Because
yeah.
that's a thick ass boy that he's fighting.
Yeah, he's a large. I mean, he's got the size advantage for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Wushu Fingerhold speaks for itself. Perfect chi control. I mean,
Oof.
yeah, I don't know if this is a weird
Was
world.
it canonically confirmed that the Wushu Fingerhold actually like kills and disintegrates you? Because in the third movie, I thought like the ox guy who was collecting everyone's souls, like you saw that leopard, like his little soul was also included on there or something in
Maybe
the
it's been a
afterlife
minute since
realm.
I've seen it, but the third one, just I want to say the third one I think is like the best Kung Fu Panda. I love that movie.
It's great. Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
I'd probably say Poe.
yeah, Poe. I think Poe takes the cake.
yeah, I go with Poe as well. There's a fun website called versusbattle.fandom where they basically power scale characters in fandom. And just for reference, they have Poe at a tier 7, which if you're in tier 7, that means you have the strength or the destructive capability of a nuclear weapon. Um,
Oh, very nice.
they have Poe at high 7C, which is a character who can destroy a large town.
Wow.
So,
Moon
yeah,
Knight cannot do that.
No,
No.
no.
I don't think so. That's funny.
Yeah, Dragon Kung Fu Panda there. The Wuxi Fingerhold. What is it saying? Does it say anything special about that? I don't know. But yeah, I go with Poe. That's a sweep. Sorry, Moon Knight.
Sorry.
Get
Yeah.
over it.
When you said
Mm,
that, I kind of was like, "Oh wow, what a dumb pick," and then I was like,
Yeah.
"Wait a minute, no, he might actually tear him apart."
Here's the breakdown of the Wuxi Fingerhold here on this site. A chi-based move that can send mortals to the spirit realm that involves the user holding an opponent's pinky finger between his or her own index finger and thumb. By flexing his one pinky, the target's chi is presumably affected so greatly that it causes a brilliant, rippling shockwave of energy that extends for miles around her. If he is in contact with another person, he can use the Wuxi finger hold on himself to send both himself and that person to the spirit realm.
The
Uh,
spirit realm. That's what you
Poe
were talking
refers to
about.
this as his best move. Yeah, so it just
Wow,
like yeets you to another plane of existence.
that's insane.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's wild.
that's pretty OP. I should have done him in our uh, multiverse draft.
For real.
oh,
Final matchup of the D.
oof.
This one's going to be a tough one.
Okay.
We have Moon Knight versus Dominic Toretto
Who?
from Fast and the
Oh,
Furious.
oh. We have the power of Khonshu versus the power of family.
Oh, is it Vin
Yeah,
Diesel's character?
Vin Diesel.
Oh.
Yeah, Dominic Toretto.
Oh, Dom. Yeah, of course, of
Now,
course.
I've not watched many of these movies, but
Same.
one thing that speaks out to me is in
Carfu.
Fast Whatever, where and this is my favorite line in movie history, and
Fast
it's
and
where
Furious
Dominic
7.
Toretto says,
7.
"You know the thing about a street fight, the street always wins," and then he stomps on a parking garage that they're fighting on, and the parking garage collapses.
Mm.
I assume it was already in disrepair, but
No,
out of
it was
context, it
not. That
looks
was
like
just
he
pure
could.
family. Yeah, no,
Um,
I think Dom takes this here.
like it's such a hacks show. Like they
He's
are
gonna yeet a car into outer space and have it crash down on Moon Knight.
they're
One of
presumably human
yeah.
beings, but there's one part where he like The Rock like is in one of those, and he like pulls a helicopter from the sky with a grappling hook, and then there's another one where they like one of them like grabs a torpedo while
It's
driving and
still The Rock
slides. Yeah, and he slides like he throws a torpedo.
at another car.
Yeah, it's
Oh, in like I just watched the most recent movie with Alex the other day, and there's a whole like C plot about Tyrese being like, "We can't die. What is this? Is this God? Are we immortal?" And so the whole movie is just him trying to convince Ludacris that they cannot die. And they just keep proving that they can't die. Like they get launched into space and they're like, "We're gonna die, we're gonna die," and then they get like saved and they're like, "See, I told you, we can't die." And it's like, it was obnoxiously meta, but I mean that kind of holds true for the series.
Yeah.
I mean, like what they killed, what's his name, Hans in Tokyo Drift,
and he came back though.
and then he came back in the most recent one.
I just saw yesterday. I think it was either yesterday or maybe early this morning. One of I don't know a director. Has it been the same director through all the movies?
It's been the same director for a good amount.
Okay, well, I think it was probably that one. Then he said that it's time for Fast and Furious to go back to its roots. So I don't like. Well, how are you?
He wants to go smaller,
right? Yeah, it's like
said.
what? How are you just gonna downscale it?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think you can go back.
You can't go back at this point.
No.
Yeah.
It's like this. Just the Fast and Furious 10 needs to be
Dinosaurs.
Dominic Toretto fighting a
Dinosaurs.
Sharknado on the moon or something like
Yeah.
that. I don't. That's the bar.
Adolf Hitler
where
didn't
we're
die,
at.
but Dom's gonna kill him now.
I was
just based on everything though. I want Moon Knight to win this because I don't like Dominic Toretto.
Moon
at the
Knight
same
wins
time,
this.
with Moon Knight where he's at and Dominic Toretto where he's at, I'm gonna give this one to Dom.
But
He
Dom doesn't
cannot
have the
be
power
killed.
of his family with him. It's just
He has the
1v1.
power of the family.
No, he doesn't
He
have
has-
it. His family's not there.
He has street bending powers, so
Dom's gonna have
his
access
brother's
to
John
one
Cena.
car.
Like, come on.
He's gonna have access to one car.
that's all
none
he
of his
needs.
family.
Game over.
That's true.
He knows Carfu. I think that's what they actually call it, is Carfu.
Carfu.
I'm gonna go with Dominic Toretto because I've not seen him have any vulnerabilities here.
No.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I have no reason to believe he can die.
I have no reason. Okay, yeah, that's fair. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna go Moon Knight. I gotta go the realistic pick here.
Yeah, that's kind of thing. We have no reason to believe that Dominic Toretto is not a human because they've never said anything like that.
As
but also,
Ludacris pointed
everything
out,
he
or
does
whatever you
is
said,
superhuman.
he can't die.
Yeah, can't die. It's very curious.
Love these mashups. These are all definitely worth a revisit, I think.
I do
so.
believe they are all worth a revisit. But here's the thing. I don't think by the end of the Moon Knight series our answers are going to change at all.
Likely not.
Yeah.
Likely not.
Yeah. Especially, it'll just get worse for a few of them.
Well, yeah, especially since,
Like
we're not going to have Moon Knight probably at all next episode and maybe not at all on the 5th episode. They're going to try to get the suit back, but who knows?
Dominic Toretto is on the Fandomverse listed in the quote superhuman tier.
Is that higher than tier 7?
That is not higher than tier 7.
Oh.
He's specifically listed at wall level, a character who can destroy resistant materials such as stone, metal, or steel.
Okay. A parking garage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the parking
I mean,
garage.
just stomp
That
it to
fits.
the ground.
That's funny.
Yeah. I don't think they have the movie or the TV version Moon Knight, but Moon Knight is listed as a lower tier than Dominic Toretto on Fandom Versus here.
Mm.
Oh, no.
Yeah. For whatever that's worth. But yeah. Well,
you know what? Dominic Toretto, if he had prep time and Batman had prep time, I think Dominic Toretto would somehow defeat Batman. That
Yeah, I
might be
mean,
a hot take.
I have no
That's
I have no
definitely a
reason
hot take.
to believe anything contrary to that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So by your
Dominic
logic, is Dom beating Goku, Zach?
well, no. Uh,
You
This
can't
this whole
lose.
segment has just proven what I think we set out to even like try to convey is that Moon Knight is just easily derailed by anything else. It's just I don't know. Moon Knight is just the most I don't know ellipsis show I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and we will see if
Any
it's
better?
better. Um,
I hope.
I think that'll finish us up on Moon Knight for the D. I think perhaps the next episode is likely to be a highly contentious one, a versus episode in its own right, and that would be Sonic the Hedgehog 2 versus the Batman,
Oh my god.
coming to an app near you. Um, yeah, I don't know. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's worth the money. It's good. It's good shit, man.
I'm excited for it.
Um, yeah, give me more. Batman. I'm at HBO Max here in a couple days, so I'll finally get to watch it.
Same.
Yeah,
I like it. I can't wait.
it's pretty good. All right, well, peace unto you, good children. Happy Easter. Bailey didn't say anything problematic about Jesus today, so we'll kill the episode before he does. Bye.
Nailed it.